All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you. Right there, and yours truly right here. Neal Schon did this great interview for an Atlanta radio station as Journey continues on their summer journey. They'll be playing a show on July 1st in Atlanta, and I'm sure it's going to be a great one. But a lot of topics were taken up, and I have to say, I always learn a lot when I listen to Neal Schon for 30 minutes. And in this case, he was talking about the song Lights and how the response to Lights is just terrific. And I did a video about that the other day, about how if you're talking about fan favorite anthems versus cultural anthems, where the fans are a little bit more informed regarding the history of the band. Because Infinity really started to launch Journey in a new direction with Steve Perry as vocalist. Although I can hear some stuff, especially on Look Into the Future, that sort of gets you ready for what's going to happen on Infinity, even without Steve in the band. I think Greg Raleigh, on a couple attempts, really did a fine job at pushing the band forward and getting them closer to that point where FM radio would embrace them. But Lights was one of those songs that got a ton of FM album rock radio airplay, but almost zero from top 40, which it's crazy now to think that, because every adult contemporary station in the world plays Lights. It just shows you how music, has kind of evolved, where certain songs, they never used to play Hit Me With Your Best Shot on an adult contemporary station. It was considered to be too rockin', and now it's almost passé that it's on these stations. But in any event, getting back to songs I think should be re-released as singles, because Neal suggested, I guess he called Irving Azoff, said, hey, Irv, why don't we put this back out there as a single? Maybe it needs to get into a couple of movie soundtracks. Maybe it needs to just get some sort of airplay. Yours truly, though, would like to hear a song like When You're Alone, It Ain't Easy get some radio airplay. And here's why. Evolution, probably the most maligned album for radio airplay. Lovin' Touchin' Squeezin' was the primary song off of it. Just the Same Way does get some airplay, which is a brilliant song. However, When You're Alone, It Ain't Easy showcases a couple of just terrific things. Neal Schon's sort of psychedelic, grinding, melodic guitar work, great guitar solo. And of course, Steve Perry really at his finest. A younger Steve Perry who's really, he's climbing the ladder with one hand, you know what I mean? He can do these high notes, and he just sounds amazing. And it's really just disturbing that the record label didn't hear this when the album came out initially and say, hey, this needs to be a single. So my challenge is, maybe some of the classic rock stations out there, maybe you send this video over to somebody who you think might care and say, hey, this guy's got a point. This song should have seen the light of day. For us Journey fans, we know how great the song is and how it should be all over the place. But my message back to Neal Schon would be, hey, why don't you take a song that didn't get much radio airplay, one that is instantly singable and instantly recognizable and has all of those characteristics that people have come to understand really embodies the whole Journey sound, and put it out there and say, hey, have you guys heard this? Because this needs to be on the radio. And there are a lot of songs by a lot of bands. I do this all the time. I go back into the archives and I listen to full albums and I go, this is weird, because this is just as good as this other song that has gotten like 1 billion plays, and I don't think anyone's ever heard this on the radio, or if they did, it was a rogue DJ, So in any event, that's my suggestion. When You're Alone, It Ain't Easy And that would be my pick hit for a Lost Journey classic that needs to get some airplay. And wouldn't it be cool to hear Journey performing that in their set, like at the beginning of the set list to kick the whole concert off? People would go nuts, because that's a song that, whether you know it or not, it's instantly Journey, okay? And it's got everything in it that a classic Journey song should have. All right, I'm done with this suggestion video. Again, thanks for subscribing. I'm now over 12,000. I appreciate that. Don't forget Patreon. $1 a month, people, is all we're looking for to help support me and this channel and to keep things sort of, you know, financially solvent. All right, see you soon, everybody.